scared out of their senses, laughed one troll. We have that effect on humans. Hey, humans. I mean, people. How are you today? I was just reading a good book that I've quite enjoyed, and you might want to check it out as well. It's called Rump, The True Story of Rumpelstiltskin. So if you have a chance and you're looking for your next read, check out Rump, The True Story of Rumpelstiltskin. But you're here to finish up chapters 23 and possibly 24 today. Remember to pay close attention. We're near the end, so it's going to be winding down the story, so you're going to need to know the information so you can do your final project. Let's get started with chapter 23, Plastic Snowmen. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Chloe, but you can't possibly come with me, said Mr. Stink as they stood in the driveway. Why not? Protested Chloe. For a million different reasons. Name one. It's too cold. I don't mind the cold. Well, said Mr. Stink, living on the streets is far too dangerous for a young girl like you. I'm nearly 13. It's very important you don't miss school. I hate school, said Chloe. Please, please, Mr. Stink, let me come with you and the Duchess. I want to be a wanderer like you. You must think about this properly for a moment, child, said Mr. Stink. What on earth is your mother going to say? I don't care, snapped Chloe. I hate her anyway. I've told you before, you mustn't say that. But it's true. Mr. Stink sighed. Your mind is made up, is it? 100%. Well, in that case, I'd better go and talk to your mother for you. Chloe grinned. This was super brilliant, amazing. It was really going to happen. She was going to be free at last. No more being sent to bed early. No more maths homework. No more wearing yellow frilly dresses that made her look like a quality street. Chloe was 100 times more excited than she'd ever been in her life. She and Mr. Stink were going to wander the world together, eating sausages for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, having baths in ponds, and emptying Starbucks whenever they went. Thanks so much, Mr. Stink, she said, and she put her key in the lock for the last time. As Chloe raced excitedly around the room, throwing clothes and the chocolate bars she had hidden under her bed into her bag, she could hear faint voices in the kitchen downstairs. Mother won't care, thought Chloe. She'll hardly miss me anyway. The only person she cares about is Annabelle. Chloe looked around her little pink room. Strangely, she felt a tingle of fondness for it now that she was leaving. And she was going to miss Dad, and of course Annabelle, and even Elizabeth the cat, for a new life was calling her. A life of mystery and adventure. A life of making up bedtime stories about vampires and zombies. A life of burping in the faces of bullies. Just then, there was a gentle knock on the door. I'm just coming, Mr. Stink, Chloe called out as she threw her last ornamental owl into her bag. The door opened slowly. Chloe turned around and gasped. It wasn't Mr. Stink. It was Mother. She stood in the corridor, her eyes red from crying. A tear was running down her cheek, and a little plastic snowman dangled incongruously above her head. My darling Chloe, she sputtered. Mr. Stink just told me that you want to leave home. Please, I beg you, don't go. Chloe had never seen her mother looking so sad. Suddenly, she felt a little guilty. I just thought you wouldn't mind, she said. Mind? I couldn't bear it if you left. Mother started sobbing now. This was unlike her. It was as if Chloe was looking at another person entirely. What did Mr. Stink say to you? She asked. The old man gave me a good talking to, said Mother. Said how unhappy you've been at home, how I had to work at being a better mother. He told me how he'd lost his own family, and if I wasn't careful, I was going to lose you. I felt ashamed. I know we haven't always seen eye to eye on things, Chloe, but I do love you. I really do. Chloe was horrified. She thought Mr. Stink was just going to ask if she could go with him, but instead, he'd made Mother cry. She was furious with him. This wasn't the plan at all. And just then, Mr. Stink appeared solemnly in the doorway. He stood a pace behind Mother. Oh, I'm sorry, Chloe, he ventured. I hope you can forgive me." "What did you say? Why did you say what you did?" she asked angrily. "I thought we were going to wander the world together." Mr. Stink smiled kindly. "Maybe one day you'll wander the world on your own," he said. "But for now, trust me, you need your family. I would give anything to have mine back. Anything." Mother's legs looked like they were going to give way, and she stumbled towards Chloe's bed. She sat there and wept, hiding her face in shame at her tears. Chloe looked at Mr. Stink silently for a long time. Deep down, she knew he was right. "Of course, I forgive you," she said to him finally, and he smiled that eye-twinkling smile of his. Then she softly sat down next to her mother and put her arm around her. "And I love you too, Mum, very much." Chapter 24. Yuckity Yuck Yuck. It was well into the night on Christmas Eve now, and down in the living room Dad waved a large festive ornament tin under Mr. Stink's nose. "Would you like a biscuit?" he asked. Dad had already scoffed quite a few, having been hiding in the room under the stairs again all day with only a couple of slices of dry bread to keep him going. Mr. Stink eyed the contents of the tin with disgust. "Have you any stale ones?" he asked. "Maybe just a hint of mold?" "I don't think so. Sorry," replied Dad. "No, thank you, then," said Mr. Stink. He patted the Duchess, who was sitting on his lap, trading evil looks across the table with Elizabeth. The family cat was bundled up in a towel on Annabel's lap, still recovering from her swim. "Never mind about the biscuits," said Annabel. "I want to know what you said to the Prime Minister's offer." "Chloe told him to stick it up his—"
"We told him he wasn't interested," interjected Chloe hastily. "So maybe you can still stand to be the local MP, Mum." "Oh, no, I don't want to," said Mom. "Not after I humiliated myself on television." "But now you've met Mr. Stink and seen how other people live on their lives, you could try to make things better for people," suggested Chloe. "Well, perhaps I could try and stand again at the next election," said Mother, "though I will have to change my policies, especially one about the homeless. I'm sorry I got it so wrong." "And the one about the unemployed, eh, Dad?" said Chloe. "What's this?" said Mother. "Thank you, Chloe," said Dad sarcastically. "Well, I didn't want to tell you, but the car factory looks like it's going to close soon, and it had to let most of us go." "So you are," asked Mother, incredulous. "Unemployed, yes. Or dull scum, as you might say. I was too scared to tell you, so I've been hiding in the room under the stairs for the last month." "What do you mean you were too scared to tell me? I love you, and I always will, whether you've got a job at that stupid car factory or not." Dad put his arm around her and nuzzled up her head up next to meet his lips to hers. Their kiss lingered for a few moments as Chloe and Annabel looked on with a mixture of pride and embarrassment. Your parents kissing, nice, but somehow yuck. Them snogging is even worse. Yuckity yuck yuck. "I would go back to being in a rock band, but you put my guitar on the bonfire," said Dad with a chuckle. "Don't," said Mum. "I still feel bad about that. I fell for you like a ton of bricks when I first saw you on stage with that band. That's why I married you. But when the album didn't sell, I could see how upset you were, and I couldn't bear it. I thought I was trying to help you move on with your life. But now I realize all I did was crush your dreams. And that's why I don't want to make the same mistake twice." She got up and started searching in the bottom drawer of the sideboard, where she kept her secret stash of Bendix chocolate mints. "I'm so sorry I tore up your story, Chloe." Mum pulled out the maths exercise book of Chloe's that she had ripped into pieces. She had painstakingly sellotaped the whole thing back together. And her eyes still shining with tears, she handed it back to Chloe. "After question time, I had a lot of time to think," she said. "I fished this out of the bin, and I read it to the end. Chloe, it's brilliant." Chloe took back the book with a smile. "I promise to try harder in my maths lessons from now on, Mum." Thank you, Chloe. And I have something for you too, my darling, said Mom to Dad. From under the tree, she pulled out a beautifully wrapped present that was exactly the shape of an electric guitar. And that's going to do it for chapter 24. Now, remember to do your questions and use complete sentences. As always, let's see if you remember. Complete sentences start with a... Heard most of you, but let's try that again. Complete sentence start with a capital. Complete sentence end with a... Not a cursive period, just a period. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time where we may just finish the book. Have a great rest of your day.